Meeting your girlfriend's parents should be a simple, harmless trip. But what if everything warm and welcoming was just a mask, hiding something truly horrifying underneath? This is Get Out, a brilliant blend of horror, suspense, and social commentary. In this story, we follow Chris Washington, a black photographer who slowly uncovers the twisted truth behind his girlfriend's seemingly normal family. Let's dive into the nightmare, where escape is not just difficult, it's nearly impossible. Chris and Rose are a young, happy couple living in the city. As they pack for a weekend getaway to visit Rose's parents, Chris hesitantly asks, "Do they know I'm black?" Rose brushes it off with a casual smile. "My dad would have voted for Obama a third time if he could." She insists her family isn't racist, just awkward around race sometimes. On the way to the Armitage estate, they hit a deer. Chris is visibly shaken, not just by the accident, but by something deeper. When a white police officer arrives, he asks Chris for his ID even though Rose was driving. Rose defends him fiercely, almost too fiercely, and the cop backs off. At this point, everything still feels fine, but there's a subtle discomfort. Like something just beneath the surface isn't quite right. They arrive at Rose's family estate, a grand, quiet house in the countryside. Her father, Dean, is overly friendly, talking non-stop about his love for Barack Obama and how much he respects black culture. Her mother, Missy, is calm, elegant, and slightly cold. She's a psychiatrist and offers to help Chris quit smoking using hypnosis. The house is beautiful but strange. The only other black people around are the maid, Georgina, and the groundskeeper, Walter. They behave oddly, too proper, too stiff. Their smiles don't quite reach their eyes, and their mannerisms feel off, robotic, empty. When Chris tries to talk to them, they act as if something is controlling their every move. Later that night, Chris can't sleep. He steps outside for some air, but Walter suddenly charges at him full speed, only to stop just inches away, then walk away like nothing happened. Back inside, Missy invites him in for tea. She gently stirs her spoon in the cup, and suddenly, everything changes. Chris can't move. He's paralyzed in his chair. As Missy calmly speaks, his consciousness falls into the sunken place. It's a terrifying black void where he's trapped, able to see the world, but unable to speak or move. Missy now has total control. The hypnosis wasn't therapy, it was imprisonment. Chris wakes up the next morning unsure if it was a dream or something worse. The next day, the Armitages host a gathering. Dozens of wealthy white guests arrive, and nearly all of them treat Chris like a product on display. They compliment his physique, his skin, his genetics, and ask unsettling questions like, "Is it true? Black is in fashion now?" Chris meets Jim Hudson, a blind art dealer who says he's familiar with Chris's photography. Jim seems like the only person not focused on Chris's race, and the two connect briefly. Chris tries to stay calm, but things keep getting weirder. A man named Logan, another black guest, is acting strange, almost mechanical, like Georgina and Walter. Chris sneaks a photo of him on his phone, but the flash causes Logan to suddenly panic. He grabs Chris and screams, "Get out! Get out!" before being dragged away. Chris is shaken. Something is clearly wrong, and it's getting worse. Chris tells Rose he wants to leave. She agrees, but as he packs, he finds a small box in her closet. Inside are dozens of photos of Rose with other black men and women. Many of them are the same people he thought were just family staff, including Georgina and Walter. Rose had told him he was the first black boyfriend she'd ever had. It was a lie. Chris tries to leave immediately, but the family blocks every exit. Jeremy, Rose's aggressive brother, tries to stop him. Missy hypnotizes him again. He collapses. This wasn't just awkward family behavior, this was a trap. Chris wakes up strapped to a chair in a dark basement. A video plays, explaining the true horror. The Armitages run a twisted operation called the coagula procedure. Wealthy white people have their brains transplanted into black bodies. The original consciousness is forced into the sunken place, silent, watching, powerless. Rose's role is to lure the victims. Missy hypnotizes them. Dean handles the surgery. Jeremy captures them. It's a family business of body-snatching slavery. Whisper, disguised as kindness. Jim Hudson, the blind art dealer, is the next buyer. He wants Chris's body and artistic eye, but Chris fights back. He uses cotton from the chair to plug his ears and avoid being hypnotized again. When Jeremy returns to untie him, Chris surprises him and kills him. He escapes, grabbing whatever weapons he can. One by one, he takes out the family. Dean is impaled with deer antlers. Missy is stabbed with her own teacup. Jeremy is beaten down a second time. And Rose, now holding a shotgun, still tries to manipulate him, pretending to care. But Chris is done with lies. As Chris escapes in a car, he hits Georgina, the maid. He feels guilty and takes her in. But Georgina suddenly attacks him. It's actually Rose's grandmother, living in that body. They crash. Georgina dies. Walter shows up next, but Chris manages to break the hypnosis by flashing his phone light. The real man inside, the original Walter, awakens for a brief moment. He grabs Rose's gun and shoots himself, freeing his soul from the nightmare. Chris is exhausted, bloody, barely alive. Sirens flash in the distance. For a second, he panics, fearing the cops will arrest him. But it's not the police. It's Rod, his best friend from the TSA. He tracked Chris down and came to rescue him. Chris gets in the car. No words, just relief. He finally got out. Get Out isn't just horror. It's a sharp, chilling commentary on race, power, and control, wrapped in suspense and silence. It reminds us that sometimes the real monsters don't look scary. They smile, they welcome you in, and they hide the truth behind teacups and kind words. Thanks for watching. If something ever feels wrong, trust your gut and get out.